Okay, welcome. Thank you for coming to this session. We are speaking about data API-driven extensions. My name is Robert Deutz. For people who don't know me, I was OSM board member, PLT member, events team leader, whatever. A lot of positions in the Joomla project. At the moment, I'm the team lead for the testing team, automated testing team, yeah, and in production department, and so on. Okay, good. Let's start. So, yeah, I'm old, a bit, and this allows me to look on the past and maybe how good it was in the past times. So our programs are running really in sequence. It was predictable what happened, and also so it was really easy. It was, in fact, it was this way: input, we have processing, and some output. There's nothing with object-oriented things and all this crazy stuff, promises, and so. It was really easy. We developed in Fortran 7.7. I don't know if people know about this language. So if we put this object-oriented thing back, then we are essentially what is Joomla. So Joomla is a program also with some object-oriented things, and it's running in sequence, and it's good. Let us look a bit more on the details. So what you see is we have roughly 80% PHP, and PHP is running on the server. And we have some JavaScript libraries, 10%, almost, and you see 8% are only select box styling something stuff. So, and we using CSS, and a bit of surprise is we are having a web content management system, but we only have 0.1% HTML. Crazy, but that's the way it is. So I'm also not your father, but I'm also a bit of a nerd. So I'm interested in technology and what's happened, and I think it's for us as a web developer or developer at all, this is really the fun stuff. So we can look at new technologies, try something out, and that's really the positive thing, I think, on our job. So let us look a bit what happened. So the past years. So I'm coming from really long time ago and coming to these days. So what we know in the past days with static HTML and all the stuff is it's changed some kind. These days we have applications running in browsers or running encapsulated in browser things. So that's a new way. So in some way everything is desktop, and at least it feels like some desktop thing. That makes a bit of a problem. So one problem is performance and latency. You can hide this a bit with animation and all the stuff, and if you need to know more about it, ask Lucas. He did a presentation at the German Joomla Day about exactly this topic, animation, and how you can really hide performance issues in your application. Not only about this, but this was one topic. So what we have now with PHP is that we have a client and we have a server, and most of the things happens on the server, but it would be cool if the things would happen on the client. So the problem is with doing a lot of things on the server is this arrows is the internet between. So, and that brings us some problems. So what we need in some way is that client must be more intelligent and only ask for the things the client needs for doing his stuff at the moment. So that's what we should do, and there is a way to do it, and that's JavaScript. If someone is wondering about the pictures, there are no related to the session. I only choose a couple of pictures from Unsplash and make some nice pictures. So if you are in the room and it's boring, then you have seen nice pictures, at least. So JavaScript. I don't have it with me, but I have a book at home, and it's the best part of JavaScript. And anyone knows this book? Yeah. How big is this?
It's small.
It's a very small one. So if you look at JavaScript books, they are usually so big, and the best of JavaScript is really a small one. It's getting better with ECMAScript 6 and all the stuff, but that's the case. So in some way, I'm not only old, I'm also a bit of ignorant. So because I hate JavaScript. Yeah, sorry, that's it. I really tried hard not to use JavaScript and do only PHP, but yeah, it's not working anytime longer. Okay, let us talk a bit about what's going on in software development today. So what we see is that, or that's more a summary, that ClientServer is not really dead. So it's still there, but it would be used in a different way. And the different way is that that over the last years, we are splitting all these monolithic blocks into services and smaller parts, and these are faster and more accessible to you. So one client talks with different services. So, and hopefully they do it over a well-defined API. So that's a communication between client, API, and server. So the API is it's an interface, it's well-defined, hopefully. And for the communication, we use all these HT verbs with get, post, put, delete, patch. Maybe I ask, who is developer here in this room? Well, who is writing code? Wow. Okay, and the others, what are we doing? Okay. Good. Designers? Ah, good. And I think so the rest are site integrators or something, or just here per accident. The buzzword is microservices. So everything needs some cool name, and microservices is a cool name for this. It's a bit up and down with this one. Microservices, I think the last three years, microservice was really hot topic on all conferences, and this is going a bit back. So because people really splitted everything in very small parts, and then you have a different problem. And the problem is to manage all this and make this working together. So that's a different. So maybe an example what could be a microservice. So a microservice could be to get a name of a category. Could be a microservice, or it could be that you are asking the server for a name of an article. That is, yeah, that's ideas for microservices. Okay. So it makes deployment, and that's the part I said that's the ways at the moment we are going back, not splitting all this in small parts, because the deployment is some problem. So you have to the programming is easier, but the deployment is more complicated. So that's the way you are going. So what are our findings? At least all these concepts are not really new. If you are longer in software development, you can handle all this stuff. It's not really so new. It's a bit of change, but not really a big problem. So that's the developer side. On the user's side, there are some expectations. So, and that I'm coming back to the idea of everything is desktop and everything feels like desktop. So the user expectations are at the moment that websites or web services, applications you are using really act or feel like a desktop application. So anyone knows Asana, for example? Yeah, Asana is a project management tool. It feels more like an app. So it's not really feels like a website. So, and Joomla has, in this case, a bit of a problem because we have all the server stuff, and so we have our framework, and we are not really so good prepared for these new ideas of developing our websites. That has to do with our routing and all the stuff, so I will not go really into the details. But what I did is I started an experiment, and I took Joomla and I took Vue.js and tried to make them both work together. So, and I will speak a bit about the challenges and what's happened. So, who knows Vue? Okay, good. It's a JavaScript framework. They have some two-way binding is a big word in this. So your website or your document object model and your data are bound together. So when you change data, the object model is also changing. So that's a two-way binding. What's Vue doing? So it's used from some big players. GitLab, for example, is using it for their front end, and the Joomla Media Manager is also using Vue. So, well, it's a good choice. So I like Vue very much. The same, I like Laravel, and that's the reason I come to Vue. Okay. So, what did I? So I took one of my components for a client, and this component is offering some job. You can offer jobs over this website. You can so clients come to this website, put some data in the form, and then this job will be offered. It's very specific for a field. It's not nothing like Stepstone or something. It's only for public relations area. So we have some different forms there in this component, configurable over the backend. What I try to do is, if you know forms, how forms are organized in Joomla, it's that you get the last 3 error messages when something went wrong in validation for Joomla. And I think that's not really so cool. So I try to show the error messages in the context of the form. So when I have a field name and the name must be filled, then I will show name field must be filled under the field. So that's was one idea. Okay, yeah, and the other thing I try to do is making the file upload a little bit nicer. So that are the 2 things. So, and now we come to a demo, and it's really hot here. So I will show you the result. We will see how this works here. Okay. Okay, sorry. If you don't have plans for next year in May, we're making a conference, Jane Beyond. I'm organizing in Cologne, so that's where's the mouse? Okay. So here's the component. You can see there's I already played around with it. You see you have some fields here, you have a logo uploads, some more fields here. It's not cheap, so you can change here, and then you see there's the value. You can do this with jQuery, I know, yeah, but it's much easier to do it this way with Vue. And I probably can show you. Sorry. I don't know if this works. No, it doesn't work. Okay, good. Forget it. So you see this one here, and you have to fill this one. And if I do this, then you see here's it's not really good, nice format at the moment. You see that's its field you have to fill. You have to fill this field also, and here this is required. That's an easy thing for upload. Okay. I didn't try this. So that's how it looks. So, and if I fill out all the fields, then it's working. That's all. So there's nothing really happened after it, and then I show you. That's the different form. So it has not so much fields. So that's the other one. So this is configurable in the backend. So let us look a bit on the code side. So one problem is to get all the data I have and I have this data on PHP level to get this into JavaScript on the JavaScript level. That's one problem you have in this case. So I did this. There are more elegant ways to do it. There's also a Joomla function for making a JavaScript object, but I did it here this way. And yeah, you can see it's only script declaration things, adding. Sorry? Okay. I hope I can do this. Wait. There's a presentation mode. Where?
On the first, on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Better? Good. Oh, yeah, now I can see it also. So it's not really, yeah, it's an object here I'm creating, and then I'm adding a couple of JavaScript things. That's all. Nothing really so special, a bit styling, and yeah. You see this, in fact, this comes out of JForm. So that's the source of all this is JForm. So also form definition is JForm, and I do all the stuff in JForm for form fields. Let me look. So okay. So this one is the form view, and you might see it's not really complicated here. It's rendering fields. That's all. There are some options getting there, but that's all. So now I show you the JavaScript part. Let me find form assets main.js. So I scrolled through it. You see, it's not really so much. So it's nice formatted here. That's all the JavaScript part for doing all the stuff. So okay, it's not so much. There's a Vue library behind it. So there's some more JavaScript code, but that's the code I have to write. So and that's what's important for me. I go up. So someone interested in how this works a bit? So I go through it very, very quickly. So there are components you can use. You can split Vue into components. And this is one component, it's drop zone, this is for the upload field. This here is the important part for the data. You have data, and so I'm grabbing all the data I've put from JavaScript here into the Vue object. Some bit of configuration for the drop zone thing. That's a nice thing that computed properties Vue has, and that's something. It's a variable that are calculated, and it would be calculated on the fly. So when you change something, then the value of the is calculated. So yeah, some methods here. So and here's API call, and you can see that are hooked into it a bit nasty. So Joomla would give you HTML because it's a content management system. So you have to add raw at the end to get only JSON response. So this gives you JSON response because I converted it on the PHP side to JSON. And that's calling the APIs. So when you submit or pre-submit, it's called, then I'm hitting the server. I'm giving all the data here and item ID and all the stuff. When there is an error, it was locked. So done. Okay. Did you got the idea of it? There is a PHP part in this whole thing, rendering or configuration. I render a form, add some JavaScript to it, and then the JavaScript is really doing the form submitting, data transferring, and doing the job in this case. Okay, cool. So let me look if I can go. Okay, so problems. I talked, I think, about anything. Yeah. My notes set here. Good. Yeah. So problems was to make sure that you have configuration, have the data available in JavaScript, and do all the handling together. So how to do this is if you will start with Vue. That's what you have to do. There is a Webpack configuration for Vue. So you are started in a minute with it, and can do your own components, can do your front end. What I learned in this, with this was that the really complicated part is make Joomla do it in the right way. That's the really complicated part, and do it really nice. So I would, I think if we had really a good REST and web services interface for Joomla, then this would be more cleaner and better to develop. But it's possible. It's you can do this for a component. You can make it also some kind of configurable. I don't think it's really something I would ship to the community, but I think it's not so easy to do it. I think you can do it for a client, for a specific website. This is a good way to make it more makes the website feel better and are more in a look as it should look in 2017 we have now, and not 2012. So yeah, so that's my findings on this one. Thanks, and if you have questions, please do. Yeah. So the question was if I try to move the whole front end to Vue. Yeah. So what I did was only for this component. So it's only this part. In fact, it's a form view that I worked on and converted to Vue. So that's what I did, not the complete website. But you can do this. So that's doable. What you then have to do is, if you need In fact, you have a couple of options. At some point, it doesn't make sense to use Joomla anymore because so you can. There's a router for Vue, so you can do the routing with Vue. You have to convert all the menus in some way to JavaScript that you can build your site structure. What you then need is, if you have articles there, you need some API endpoint to get the articles. So there's a lot more to do, but then at some point the question is, do I really need Joomla then?
You still need to manage the content.
Yeah. Yeah, for content management, yeah, makes sense, yeah. More questions? Yeah.
Is there any way to authenticate the user without the cookies of Joomla? Because I saw that in the URL that you are calling, there are not such ID or key.
Authentication?
The API you were.
Okay. The question is if there is authentication for.
Is that stateless or it requires to be run in the browser and get login?
I don't need a login for this site. That's a good thing, but you can do this absolutely. So you can make authentication, use a cookie, use something else. So that's possible to do. Yeah.
No, the question was, is there an APIs project that?
So we have, so I answer this.
Integrating with Joomla.
Yeah, we have, so we tried, I think the last 5 years to get web services really running on Joomla, and we are not ready with this. So there's, this failed a couple of times. We are a bit better now, but not really in the state that we are having web services and all this stuff. So, no, you have to do it on your own. Sorry. More questions? Yeah. And I think I've answered all the questions you had and not had, never think about. Okay, thank you very much.